You are a worse psychiatrist than you are a son-in-law, and you will never get work as an actor because you have no talent.
Well, if she's not going to say anything, I certainly can't help her.
Remember tuning in each week for a new favorite only to see it suddenly vanish from TV guides? Some sitcoms lit up our screens, built loyal followings, then disappeared with stories unfinished. Today, discover 10 dearly missed sitcoms that left fans longing for one more season. Number 1. Arrested Development Fox Original Run. Let's go back to the early 2000s when television dared to be clever. Arrested Development burst onto Fox in 2003 with a tangled web of Bluth family antics, razor-sharp banter, and blink-and-you'll-miss-it visual gags. It was unlike anything else on network TV. Ron Howard's witty narration, camera zooms, and callbacks that rewarded loyal viewers week after week. Despite scooping up an Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series in its first season, Fox canceled Arrested Development in 2006 after just 3 seasons. The ratings were always perilously low, but a devoted group of fans never let the show truly fade. Petitioning, rewatching, quoting endlessly. These folks kept the Bluths alive in pop culture's heart long after the finale aired. Later revivals on streaming platforms tried to capture that magic, but nothing compared to the original run's brilliant chaos. Today, we look back and can't help but imagine what other brilliantly awkward Bluth moments we missed, if only the network had believed. Number 2. Freakazoid. Lightning-paced gags and a hero in red underpants. Freakazoid was a jolt of anarchic energy on weekday afternoons. Debuting on the WB in 1995, this animated sitcom delivered a non-stop stream of meta-jokes, slapstick, and pop culture zingers that crashed through the fourth wall. The series, created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, followed the digital age adventures of Dexter Douglas, a teenage computer geek turned gleefully unhinged superhero. With a voice cast featuring Paul Rudd as Freakazoid and the sly winks from Ed Asner as Sergeant Cosgrove, the show never let a punchline linger. Yet, as the network aimed for broader audiences and more traditional kid fare, Freakazoid became a casualty in 1997 after only 2 seasons. The tone was just too wild, too unpredictable for execs at the time. Still, quotable bits like, "Hey Freakazoid, want to go for donuts?" live on in fan circles. The show's legacy? It proved that even chaos, if done right, can become a cult classic. Next, let's see what other sitcoms met a fate they didn't deserve. Number 3. Pushing Daisies. The scent of fresh pie, a palette of vivid greens and yellows, and an impossible secret. No sitcom looked or felt quite like Pushing Daisies. Premiering in 2007 on ABC, this whimsical fantasy followed Ned, a humble pie maker played by Lee Pace, who could bring the dead back to life with a single touch. With Emmy-winning narration by Jim Dale and a cast that sparkled with Anna Friel and Kristen Chenoweth, Pushing Daisies danced between murder mysteries and aching romance, all topped with visual flair rivaling storybook pages. But even its critical success could not save it. The writer's strike of 2007 slashed momentum mid-flight, and the show's intricate sets and effects proved too expensive for primetime. After barely 2 seasons, Pushing Daisies closed its doors in 2009, leaving fans hungry for answers and reunions that never came. Like a dessert snatched away mid-bite, its bittersweet aftertaste still lingers for those who crave a second helping. Number 4. The Tick. Blue antennae wiggling, a muscle-bound hero leaps from rooftop to rooftop. But this was no ordinary caped crusader. The Tick arrived on Fox in 2001, serving up just 9 gloriously weird episodes before vanishing almost as quickly as he appeared. It was a superhero spoof at heart, turning every cliché upside down with deadpan jokes and bizarre villains. Patrick Warburton donned the blue suit, delivering bone-dry lines with the seriousness of a Shakespearean actor. But Fox struggled to market the show, unsure if the silly, surreal tone would stick. And with little advertising to back up the madness, The Tick never gained the audience it deserved. Still, those who tuned in remember its unapologetic oddness, the kind you just didn't see on network television. So, while The Tick may have stumbled off screen too soon, his battle cry lingers. Destiny might hurt, but it sure leaves a mark. And just like that, we leap onward to the next forgotten laugh. Number 5. Police Squad. Blink, and you missed it. Police Squad blazed onto ABC's schedule in 1982 with Leslie Nielsen as the deadpan detective Frank Drebin, lampooning every cop show trope in sight. In a flash, it was gone. canceled after just 6 episodes. The irony? What network executives shrugged off as too dense or fast-paced for TV, fans now hail as an unsung comedy genius. This Zucker Abrahams Zucker creation unleashed a fire hose of visual gags and wordplay, a template so effective, the very same team revived it 5 years later in the Naked Gun movie series, which struck gold at the box office. Police Squad felt like a relentless game, packed with jokes you'd only catch on repeat viewing. Its cult legacy proves it wasn't the audience that failed, but a system unready for such wild, offbeat humor. Maybe if you blinked slower in 1982, you'd have caught more. The lesson? Sometimes the world needs to catch up to the show. Let's pause for a second. Who remembers watching Police Squad or catching the Naked Gun movies later on? Which short-lived sitcom sticks with you the most? Share your funniest Fast and Furious comedy memory below. Number 6. Happy Endings. The snap of a cork at Brad and Jane's apartment, the blaring karaoke in Max's cluttered living room. Happy Endings captured the unpredictable magic of friendship in Chicago. Premiering on ABC in 2011, this sharp-tongued ensemble show blossomed into a cult favorite, almost in spite of itself. 6 friends, iconic running gags, and dialogue that zipped like a late-night text kept loyal viewers hooked. But despite glowing reviews and a fiercely devoted fan base, the series faced a rocky road. Odd time slots, mid-season premieres, and relentless shuffling. Executives fretted after a rocky ratings start, and by 2013, with only 3 seasons under its belt, Happy Endings was quietly dropped. The finale left fans suspended, their favorite friendships unresolved, their favorite running jokes hanging in the air. The clatter of Penny's "Amazing" catchphrase still echoes, and many wonder what wild adventures the crew might have tackled next. Sometimes a slice of TV magic disappears just when you're clearing space for it on the couch. On to the next impossibly close-knit crew. Maybe this one lasted a little longer. Number 7. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. You could almost feel the weird magic every time that opening guitar riff hit your ears. The Adventures of Pete and Pete was Nickelodeon's surreal gem, running for only 3 seasons from 1993 to 1996. In the fictional neighborhood of Wellsville, 2 red-headed brothers, both named Pete, turned the suburban world upside down with their misfit friends, mysterious neighbors, and even the neighborhood superhero Artie. The show's stories made you believe that anything could happen behind picket fences, frozen days, tattooed mothers, riddles in the lawn. But just as the Petes were finding their groove, Nickelodeon pulled the plug. Budget cuts and a push for safer, more formula-driven programming meant that Pete and Pete, with its quirky characters and dreamy moments, simply didn't fit. A generation who grew up with Iggy Pop as a neighbor, and yes, BBQ slushies from the local gas station, still imagine where those oddball adventures could have gone. Sometimes the most original stories leave you wishing for one more summer in Wellsville. Number 8. Freaks and Geeks. Always buzzed with awkward laughter, band rehearsals, and the stinging slap of teenage reality in Freaks and Geeks. Premiering on NBC in 1999, this singular season pulled viewers into the lives of Lindsay and Sam Weir, siblings fumbling through high school's trenches. It wasn't afraid to get messy, tossing comic book loners and flannel-clad rebels into the same cruel cafeteria. Ironically, despite thoughtful writing from Paul Feig and early career sparks from Linda Cardellini, James Franco, and Seth Rogen, the show found little love from NBC executives locked into formula sitcoms. Time slots changed, episodes vanished from the schedule. By spring 2000, Freaks and Geeks was gone, its 13 episodes leaving fans craving more hallway heartbreaks and underdog victories. Over the years, DVD box sets and streaming revivals have only cemented its status as a voice for those who felt unseen. Sometimes the truest stories are the ones networks can't quite handle. A slamming locker door, echoing into the next chapter, reminds us what we lost too soon. Number 9. My So-Called Life. A bedroom door slams, a Cranberries song hums on a cheap stereo, and inside, Angela Chase unpacks her restless soul. In 1994, ABC took a bold step with My So-Called Life, letting Claire Danes give voice to the messy truths of adolescence. This wasn't typical Friday night sitcom fodder. No laugh track, no glossed-over dilemmas. Instead, we got vivid heartbreak, friend betrayals, and dizzying crushes delivered with shaky, almost documentary-style realism. Fans heard themselves in Angela, or maybe Rayanne, or that dreamy, silent rebel Jordan Catalano. Despite its genuine connection with young viewers, the show's ratings lagged and ABC hesitated. One season later, despite a torrent of fan letters and a Golden Globe nod for Danes, the network pulled the plug. Angela's story ended not with resolutions, but with unresolved longing, a reflection of teenage years themselves. The echoes of her open-ended journey still leave fans wondering, decades later, what might have been if the story had continued. Next, we look at another lost classic that vanished long before its time. Number 10. Better Off Ted. Neon bright office lights, strange lab gadgets, and deadpan memos from upper management. Better Off Ted dared to lampoon corporate life with a razor-sharp wit few comedies ever muster. Premiering on ABC in 2009, its setting was the fictional biotech giant Viridian Dynamics, where rules were fluid and absurdity reigned. Creator Victor Fresco, best known for his work on Andy Richter Controls the Universe, assembled a standout cast featuring Jay Harrington as the genial Ted, Portia de Rossi as icy boss Veronica, and a scene-stealing supporting ensemble. Critics praised its inventive writing and oddball humor, but ABC's paltry promotion meant the show barely made a ripple in the ratings pool. By the summer of 2010, after just 2 seasons, cancellation came, leaving devoted fans and TV lovers alike frustrated by what might have been. As folks recall malfunctioning machines and company ethics gone sideways, you can't help but wonder what workplace shenanigans awaited. Had Better Off Ted just been given the time to mature? Next, let's see which other sitcom gem was gone before it ever truly shined.